Welcome everybody. It's Bren's really excited because we get to talk about Valorant today. This guy's so excited. Bren, you like
the master
gaming, right?
From Majora's
Okay, I mean
Mask,
you, dude. You look like your head's about to just burst. It's You're just the skull.
I love Valorant.
Oh my god,
dude.
I mean, the bottle, the human form can't contain that level of excitement. You're about to just combust. You're about to burst.
I gotta slow down.
Yeah, dude, it's not- that kind of looks like you're getting lightheaded already.
Yeah, I'm.
You okay?
I need to take a. I need to take a nap.
Yeah, also, as a little bit of context, Kurt paid like 20 minutes of fart sounds before we started recording. So that's just for you. That's for you guys in the podcast, the fans, you know?
Yeah.
So we started out really well today.
We have a lot of fun here at the Plat chat.
Yep.
At the Plat chat.
It never feels like work.
It never feels like work because we just have so much fun. And honestly, guys, the only thing I love more than Valorant and gaming is being able to talk about it with you guys, my friends, huh? Anybody else feel? You guys feel?
I really thought you were
I
going
thought that was
somewhere
going
else
to an
with
ad
that.
read. I thought you were going to an ad read. Like,
No,
I thought you were going to
100%.
say, the only thing I love more than Valorant is my balls.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna go.
This is to think that you guys would. I would just segue that into how we make money. I was trying to have an earnest, genuine little connection with my friends and on this friendly
The problem
podcast.
is your tone of voice doesn't sound genuine or earnest because you have a bad case of irony disease. Every time you speak, Wyatt, is a terrible case of irony disease, and I also have it, so I know it's an issue.
I know. That's the pot calling the sheep the kettle.
No.
You know what I mean? You know that old idiom? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Connor, hold this L. It still looks like you're in prison. That's not where the man's ad read is.
Yeah, you like my jumpsuit? They gave me my jumpsuit today, so now I'm prisoner over number 546. So,
Yeah, at least they gave you a little cute.
What was your Twitch income number?
my Twitch income.
Yeah,
number?
do you know
What
that? Do you know the Twitch leaks, the Twitch income leaks?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't high. I mean, I'd have to stream more than like twice a month.
My stream kept calling me streamer 5627. Just removing all humanity from it.
5627
Or something like that. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
What is Connor like? Streamer number 8.
Connor's got to be like 8.
Dude, you're right up there.
Yeah,
that's why you're in
me.
jail,
I'm
right?
there with
Tax fraud.
Ninja.
All your fucking Twitch money. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna do this Manscaped
Money?
ad read now.
That's like
everybody
Squid Game.
listen up. Dude, that's a really good connection. Guys, cheers to 2022 and resolutions you can actually keep about having clean and shiny balls all year round. Huh? I mean, I would sure like that. I, for one, do like when my balls are clean and shiny. Our sponsors at Manscaped are here to save your balls this year and make the ball drop into 2022 the cleanest and sexiest ever. Auga, dude, the sex appeal on this show. Through the fucking roof. Through the roof.
Look at that jacket.
Set your first New Year's resolution with good intentions and join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped trademark with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code... You know what it is, Bren? Can you say it?
ValoChat20.
Use code I tried to...
It's gone, but it's
Hold on,
coming
let's
back.
come back. Use code ValoChat20 for 20% off and free shipping. That's 20% off and free shipping. You're going to want to use code ValoChat20 at manscaped.com to keep your balls nice and clean and shiny and round like Josh's skull. Or just, I mean, his head generally, I suppose.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys nailed the ad read.
Thank
Nailed
you.
it over there.
I'm a pro.
have
You know, I
any
actually
part of
learned
this.
something.
I tried
We
to throw
are-
it to like, it was like a concert and I'd do like one, and then,
ValoChat20.
yeah, you know what I mean? But, you know, we'll
I
get there
didn't
next
pick
time.
up on it.
Well,
We
were
weren't talking about
close.
Valorant, so my brain...
That's okay.
Was off. Yeah. You just know fine dining. You just know Valorant and breathing.
Dude,
You're
I
just
only
like
care
fine
about
dining and
Valorant.
breathing.
I play
Fair.
Valorant 12 hours a day.
Yeah, you actually do. Dude, you have been, I mean, now that you mention it, Kurt, Can you bring up
No, I
Bren's
took a break.
stream recently?
I took a break.
I mean, there was one stream I tuned into briefly, and you were just. It looked like you were in the quantum realm.
Oh,
you were just.
you're talking about the layers.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, I went to so.
I mean, this is also.
What is this?
I don't think you can. You can't see. Look at your face right now.
Yep.
I mean, no emotion.
Yeah.
You've been. Neither anger nor joy exists in your eyes.
You look like you're in the Matrix.
He's
Yeah.
2 and 10.
I was 2 and 10.
And just
Dude,
dying
I mean,
to
also,
this
I
Bren.
saw on Twitter, this is what people must have been talking about, because Doug was streaming the other day, and people were adding Doug on Twitter. It's like, oh, so this is what a normal stream is like. Just came from Britain. Like, it's
Every
like,
now and then, I do this little skit. So the night before the stream, I went to bed and I was watching Germa YouTube compilation videos.
Yeah.
And he does these. He plays like a character and incorporates his stream into it.
I know him in real life.
And I thought, well, I'm already losing my sanity as I play these Valorant games. I might as well reflect my stream with it. And so at that point, I was playing the entire Bloodborne dialogue in every language in the background, and along with like ambient, unsettling space sound.
Yeah, it was an experience.
So your stream was just taking psychic damage. That's just what was happening there the whole time.
I didn't win.
You were live for so long.
Yeah,
that was genuinely
I wanted to stay on
13 hours.
I wanted to stay on until I went even on the day, but I mean,
you'd have been on for long.
Was that after we played? Because I entered a couple of your games.
Yeah, I think I was.
You said you started the stream. If I lose 3 in a row, I'm going to play Breath of the Wild. Instantly lost.
Oh,
we lost 3 in a row.
That was
instantly.
the title of the stream.
Yep, and I changed it and I said I lied, and then it just went downhill. Enough about me.
Anyway, yeah.
I'm doing okay though.
Well, that's really reassuring.
It's killing me. It's killing me, man. That's fucked up.
I'm worried. I'm worried about Bren.
No, for real. I've been detoxing off Valorant. I've only been playing 3 games a day off stream.
I saw after that stream as well. I mean, you stream every day. I saw after that stream as well the day after. Nothing. I mean, nothing. No digital footprint being set at all the day after that stream.
I cut it out. I needed a break.
Did anyone check up on Bren today?
I needed a break. I was regressing in my gameplay. Now I'm refreshed mentally, physically. I'm a well-tuned war machine.
That's good.
Ready to jump in.
Well, I'll tell you, this first topic, I mean, we've known that this is going to be announced since, I want to say we talked about this the first time. At the time, we might have still thought like, ooh, SMB might do well at Berlin. That was about what was going on when this topic first got like put out there into the ecosystem. Yeah. But it's been finally announced. TSM, they signed Corey and Rossy? What? Wow. That is crazy. Well, oh, look at that gravity, dude. It was spinning around and stuff. I mean, cool signings.
I like that they put the Aries in this too.
Team. You know what I mean?
They made sure to keep it in there. They're nice.
What's interesting about this is that the agents that are accompanying with it show Corey on Jett as well. So when they're trying to basically piece together and ask the players like, oh, what are your roles going to be? It seems like they might be leaning to have Corey play Jett and Wardell. For Wardell, they just had him play in Chamber. But I think they might just mix it up, you know? Like some maps, they might just have Corey play something else. I don't really know too much. I'll tell you what, though, some insider juice I collected. You know, like the little... I just read Dune, so I'm thinking about water a lot. Little dew collector, you know? Just collecting water. And I was collecting little snippets from streams of information. And I was gathering it together. Very precious information. BCJ was playing with Corey. Corey said... You know, I scrimmed he was like, they were like bantering back and forth about a scrims. Corey playing a bit of Cypher on some maps. So I don't think there's any hope for this team.
Off the bat, TSM fans dick flattened.
No, I'm kidding.
Dick flattening.
I'm joking. I do think there's hope for this team. Corey's a phenomenal player. I mean, this roster's got legs. It just depends on how they utilize him, you know? How they use him.
Sure.
It may have legs, but do they have arms? That's the question here.
Yeah,
So
very crucial bodily components for video game playing. But I'm excited for this roster though. Overall, I think it's cool direction for TSM. They got a dedicated IGL young player coming up, all that. He's upcoming and all that. You know, all the stuff you say about the upcoming player. And obviously, I think Corey proved that he's one of the top tier players in NA, and I'm very interested to see more of him in the non-FaZe lifestyle. Like TSM, you know, maybe they can ground him a little bit. If he can play within a bit more reasonable of a system, I think that'd be pretty scary.
He was kind of owned playing in that FaZe system a little bit because it was pretty clear they were just building around Baby Bay and his playstyle, like the Smeeg playstyle of essentially trying to encompass whatever that is. But I think Corey stepping away from that is big. I said it all the way back when FaZe were having issues. I was like, I don't know. I feel like that kind of direction that they took the FaZe roster in was not good for a lot of the players on that team.
Luckily, they've gone into a more disciplined team with TSM, right? Like, you know, with a team that was, you know, said is like, we keep making the same mistakes over and over again, and we can't fix them from Sabrosa. So I don't know. I don't think that like there's necessarily. It depends on what other internal changes have been made, right, with TSM, if this system's even going to be better for Corey necessarily. But I think it's nice to just get a change of location still, and you know, getting Rossy in there and things like that. Did they announce what all the roles are going to be? I'm assuming we don't know, right?
That's why I was talking about them teasing it.
I know you were talking about the teasing, but we don't actually. Does anyone exactly know? Because Sabrosa's been playing smokes for them before, right? Or no, I'm thinking someone else. So never mind.
Sabrosa has played smokes in the past.
Yeah, but I think it would probably be Rossy playing smokes here, right? Obviously.
Yeah, you would think, and Leviathan will be playing Sova.
I don't know.
But outside of that,
it was the cipher in the video. So
see, exactly. So I don't know.
I think Sabrosa will probably be controller.
Or they just have 24/7 chamber with Wardell. Break the meta wide open.
Possibly.
Very possible.
Genuinely, if for Wardell, I feel like chamber would be a great pick for him.
Yeah, I think that could actually be pretty nasty, to be honest.
I kind of disagree. I feel like he needs to be on Jett if he wants to be as aggressive on attack side opping as he has in the past. That's the big thing that's glaring for me if he picks chamber, or if he's like a chamber main.
Yeah, for
I think
sure.
on defense, defense obviously it fits perfectly, and having somebody else on Jett is actually probably good. But on attack, I don't see that working.
Yeah, perhaps. I suppose depends on how they want to run their attack sides. If in this iteration of TSM they're just not going to be as dependent on him for finding opening picks for their attack sides to work, whereas before it was like there were so many rounds where they'd just be posted up for ages just waiting for him to find an entry, that kind of thing. If that won't be as a common occurrence, then it could be cool.
I mean, I think I agree that like it really depends. What Avast said, it depends on whether the structure is going to change for this team.
Yeah, definitely.
And that obviously you look at Rossy as the guy to do that. When he IGL'd for Immortals, it was kind of like a new thing for him, I believe. But he seemed pretty competent in that role. I think the more interesting thing out of this announcement, because we obviously knew Rossy and Corey were coming on the team, beyond speculating about roles, is they actually did hire the Noble coaches, like Apex and what is his name?
Oh, really?
Rubies. Yeah, as full time. So, or at least like upgrading them from the academy roster.
Yeah.
So now they have a coaching staff that has worked together with at least Leviathan before, and completely new. So hopefully there should be some new level of thinking about the game for everybody on the team.
Yeah, that's probably the thing they need more than anything. So, yeah, a good point. Also in NA, FaZe, where Corey came from. The roster has been leaked. I guess leaked is the word, but it's more so FaZe hasn't announced their roster, but they need to sign up for VCT so their roster becomes public before they post a Twitter graphic. So it's not really a leak.
But they are missing a player off of it, I think.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, one of their coaches is on instead.
But I mean, that is a leak, is because it wasn't the org.
There's still some players getting leaked.
I mean, I guess it's a leak. if we really want to break down the
No,
definition
this
of
is
leak,
they had all 5 people on there.
Oh, they got all their
Maybe a
players on there.
trickle.
I thought
Yeah,
so.
it's just that. So it was Dicey, Larry Banks, Flya, and Shot Up was listed as I. But if you click on his name on the Battlefly,
right.
then it says his name. Like I forgot what it's like.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
says
it's
his name fully.
an interesting roster, a combination of a couple good young players that have been grinding in the tier 2 scene with Larry Banks and Flya, and then Dicey, who we just haven't seen for a year, is finally back on a team. And then Shot Up, who was tearing up the scene about a year ago on Immortals, and then continued with Immortals for a while. And listen, that whole stretch of time with Immortals after like the spring into late 2021, I kind of just don't care what the players were doing at that point. Like, because the roster was just so chaotic. They were that I don't blame any of the players or anything at that point for their performances being up or down. Like throughout that whole time, they had Jonah P, who looked like an excellent upcoming player, and then on Immortals was kind of and then he's playing with the Guard now, and I just watched him shred teams this week, and he's popping off, and it's like, oh, okay, he's really good. It's just that I think Immortals just seemed like they were just in complete disarray for the most of the season.
Stuck in the time.
So I'm gonna in my mind, I'm gonna just look at Shot Up as the like first half of the year ish Shot Up, where he was a real talent, was just shredding teams on the Duelists primarily. Though on this team, it was rumored he was playing not Duelists, some other stuff. I mean, it's a bit of a question mark, right? Because you would expect that Baby Bay is going to continue to play Jett, and then where's Dicey going? Where's Shot Up going? I suppose that is at least to be determined for the viewers.
Dicey, I can't remember the last time he played competitively, but he plays ranked all the time.
I mean, he streams all the time. He plays all the time.
Yeah.
But,
I can't remember the last tournament. Let me see. Let's check it. Let's check it out.
It was a long time ago.
It was when he subbed, right? When somebody went into...
Oh, yeah. He subbed for, like, the Guard, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was subbing for the Guard.
For the Guard, I guess.
Recently. That's what it was. Yeah, in November. So
sure.
That's when he played last, and
then yeah, I mean that was and the one, and then before that was 4 months before that when he subbed, and then what was before that though, Kurt? If you go to his full thing, yeah, I mean it was 6 months before that, or 5 months. Okay. So, I mean the dude has just not played in 2021, and because he was on 100 Thieves and he was
just been
solid on 100 Thieves,
you know, this is the clout move. You know, he's got a big stream following. He's got a rabid stream following. They pick him up. He wants to be a pro player again. I think this is perfect for FaZe as an org. They love players like this.
There's definitely a little bit of clout involved, but I feel like with FaZe completely restructuring their roster from the ground up, does lead me to believe they're trying to make a serious contender team.
No, for sure.
You look at the rest of the people on the roster, and you can't say that it's like, oh, it's a content team.
I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying
I know
they're looking at him because he's a very good fit for the org. He's a good player on top of that. I don't mean that he's a content creator, therefore he's shit. He's not. He's good at the game.
No. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It is. You get a little bit of both with getting him. Yeah. Well, ideally, you get a little bit of both. I have no idea how. I mean, I don't think anyone knows how his level is right now. It's just been so damn
we'll see.
long. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of this roster at the moment. Honestly,
I'm pretty hype about Larry Banks and Flya. Just those two both came from Teal Sim.
Yeah, and that was a cool team. That was a really cool team. Yeah,
fucking crazy.
Teal Sim were pounding.
And it wasn't even. So here's the reason why I'm like pretty hype about seeing those two on this team is that team, Teal Sim, was like not just like cracked young kids who were like too young to play in VCT last year. They were stratting fuck out. Like they had some really cool stuff that they were putting out into the world, and then they got picked up by the academy team for FaZe, and then all of a sudden they're just getting picked up, and I think that's nice. So we get to actually see them on the main stage.
Yeah, I mean. I'm surprised that no one has signed Cade 3K from that team. They seem to be a really standout player when I was watching that team, and thought that he probably would have been picked up by now, to be honest, but still floating around in
Only
the
so many
ecosystem.
spots on so many teams, for people to be making roster moves. So I'm sure
Yeah.
he's young. He'll find a spot. I think it's pretty exciting that we're starting to slowly see that osmosis of like young homegrown Valorant talent into VCT and both EMEA and NA slowly and elsewhere. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's very, very exciting for the game is that we're finally, and I think we're getting close to ending that like initial stage of, we're pretty much out of the initial stage of Valorant where it's like, okay, all the old pros from all these other places swapped over. And now we're starting to get to like purely endemic talent moving forward in Valorant, which I
That
think is
makes me
cool.
so hyped for this team.
Yeah.
That feels kind of fast, don't you guys think? That already a year into the I guess
I feel like it happened. It's
That's
already been
pretty
happening a
standard.
while ago.
Yeah.
No, it has been
be
happening,
honest.
but I feel like it's like to me, it's like an epoch.
Yeah, I feel like
100%. It's like, this is 100%. This
Yeah.
is the end of the old talent, the old head epoch. It's new heads now.
Yeah.
Like they're all coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, that is such as the inevitable life cycle of esports, specifically the new ones. Over on Fnatic, they've got their new player. It's Braveaf. He's brave as fuck. I don't know anything. I mean, I don't. Who? And I don't say it to be like I don't know. I'm uninformed. Who? Someone has to drop some
Josh?
knowledge on my brain.
You back?
Yeah, Josh would know.
He played in the. All I know is that he played in the Rush.
Hello, I'm
Up
here,
most recently.
motherfuckers.
Balla,
Oh,
Balla,
sorry,
Balla,
no.
Balla,
Go,
Balla,
Go, Balla.
He
Wait,
came
Balla, no
from-
Balla. Who is he?
Preach.
He came from One Breath Gaming. Like if you guys remember,
Yeah.
this is the team
Okay.
that was challenging Gambit. I mean, not necessarily at the right time because he only played for like 4 months on that team or something like that. In stage 2 and stage 3, and then once they actually, got sold to Forza or whatever, he didn't join with them. But either way, like you're right. Even if you did follow this team, even if you did follow CIS, you didn't see much of him at all. Like I literally was trying to prepare for this episode, trying to find a VOD of his, and I had to go back I had to go back to stage 2. He's been playing like various mixes and stuff like that since then.
Yeah.
But even the VODs that I saw, I was trying to find like a really good one, and I just couldn't find it. It just wasn't possible. And when I did finally find it, he didn't look anything special, which is kind of concerning to me. But at the same time, Fnatic clearly saw something.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we have very limited information. I'm in the same boat. I don't really know much about him at all.
he plays Sova and Sky like an initiator. So, and he was a pretty solid like support player. But
He must have
Beyond
performed really
that-
well then for Fnatic, fulfilling that role that, I mean, with Doma leaving or with them getting rid of Doma. I don't know which way it went, but not that it matters. But he must have fulfilled something that they wanted out of Doma, which is,
Yeah.
good. Must have been pressed in the tryout,
A bit of a wait and see, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I would trust Fnatic's ability to make roster decisions up until this point. They made good ones previously. So, I have faith. I have faith in the Fnatic machine. So will be interesting to see how they perform.
I mean, like you think about the history of Fnatic too, and how the rosters form is literally just flat out trials with Boaster and and he found the entire core like that. He just built the team with Mini. So yeah, I mean they're going for it again, and let's see how it goes.
Yep. All right.
Got my thermos.
Dude, you pouring out some soup? You got some broth?
No, he's got
my
some
tea.
Ah, yeah.
I
right in the therm.
I
mean,
This might be the first time I see a Plat chat mug used.
Huh?
It might be the first time I've seen a mug used.
The mug?
mug
I've been
Plat chat
I've
actually
been
used,
I've been
yeah.
drinking out of it.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
Did-
No, it's
did
okay.
you guys-
I like seeing you
have
pour
somebody
your
to
little
clean
hot
those
beverage out of your thermos.
I'm
gives a-
assuming they throw it in the dishwasher afterwards, right? You don't just
This?
let it
No,
sit
I
there.
actually forgot to wash it last time. I had to wash it quickly before this episode.
Well, there we go.
Well,
See,
so-
There you have it.
I
I-
hand wash it.
I like that though. It gave it the thermos kind of gave us like a little bit of
Nice break.
yeah, but it also it creates like an environment. We're creating
it's like a
the
reward for talking
world
about Valorant.
building because then the viewers are like, "Ooh, it's cold."
I'm a hardworking young man.
Yep.
LA Union, 2007.
Yep. All the way
do you
back
find
in
these
all the way back in 2007, you were in that LA Union.
2007.
Yep, and I'm
As a
telling you,
young lad fighting for workers'
the
rights.
fight
You would
for
not
good
have been
jobs.
old enough to work, but that in 2007. in the
2007.
US.
Well, listen, Avast, that's what we were fighting for. It's America. Should
That
be
is,
able to
that
work
is
at
what
the
we're
age of
fighting
10.
for. That's true. We are fighting to bring that down a bit. So hopefully we can fix that.
Over on G2, Keloqz. Over on G2. God, we got to get away. Over on G2, Keloqz. He's back. Did he save them? Did he save them? Anybody? Did Keloqz save G2? They qualified this time. Last week, they didn't qualify. Didn't have Keloqz. This week, anybody notice the progression, the change? This week, they did have Keloqz, and they did qualify.
God,
You see
that's
the
smart.
one dot, other dot, and then
Kinda
the
close.
dots connected. What do you guys
Regular
think?
scientist over here. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
this guy, he knows what's up, huh?
Yeah, I'm smart.
I just tried to push. I don't have glasses anymore. I tried to push. I'm like, causation doesn't equal correlation.
The Nurge moment.
I have some thoughts on this, but
You have
I
some
want to let other
thoughts?
people. I've been jumping into every topic.
wait. All right,
So
I'll start. You know what? This is a topic where I have thoughts.
Let's go.
And I'm
Okay.
going to say them
let's go.
on my platform.
Pop off moment.
The Plat Chat podcast.
Somebody clip it.
Hit podcast. First of all, the biggest thing that helped G2, this was something that Ryan talked about last week, and I thought it was a really good point, which was like, if they change so many things at once, but then things are better, which change do you attribute the positive progression to? The biggest change they made, I think, that helped the most was they stopped playing Fracture. Their map picks and bans were so much better. That definitely helped a lot. Also, Keloqz being in helped them significantly. Not just because of rounds like this where he's able to clutch out rounds with good shots, good play, but like even previously in that round on I think it was on that, I can't remember if it's on that play or on another clip that I sent you, Kurt, if you want to pull up the other one from Haven. But there were so many little rounds and moments, like one that's going to come up where it's just Keloqz in mid rounds and in a lot of post plant situations, he just plays with a lot of confidence and he's able to get really big impact kills in these moments that they just weren't getting when we watched them last week. And it's just these one or two kills that he'll find sometimes that make a big difference in these rounds that are the kind of plays they just weren't previously going for. I also thought that on a lot of the executes, the actual site hits, like I think Keloqz was doing a good job getting in and entering, and it made it easier for the rest of G2 to actually play off of him in some of those simple situations. Like they weren't doing anything too crazy in this tournament. Like in this moment here though, just in this retake, it's 3v4 and like moments like this where Keloqz just pops his ult and is gliding up in the air and then finds a pick for them to work off of. And then they wrap around through garage and actually get this quick retake going. There were just no moments like this in the G2 that we witnessed in the first qualifier. And it's because of situations that Keloqz is actively trying to create for them. I genuinely think he made a huge difference for this team. But at the same time, still G2 were not like so amazing that it's like, holy shit, they're back. But definitely step in the right direction, I think, with Keloqz and with the map changes.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed more cohesive overall. That's what I was saying.
You think
That's
so?
my main point. I think I wouldn't say that they looked like old G2, like by any means. It's just I feel like with Keloqz, like with Wyatt's point here, is that they had focal points to work around, and I feel like earlier in their last qualifier, they were definitely way more scattered. I felt like in like what the objective of a lot of their fights they were taking.
This is so silly. But this round was actually in this game with G2 against Alliance, who they lost to last week, and they beat them in this qualifier. Like on Ascent here, at the end of this game, they were just going A over and over again, and it was just working because in this match, in this tournament, they were just actually effectively pushing onto the sites and trading for each other and posting up on good angles for each other. Like you saw at the beginning of that hit, Hoodie on the wall, and the molly went down at Jen, and he was covering that little angle that I think Hype peaked from. Like they just had better team play on those hits, and I do think that the Keloqz factor was definitely a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just think that because I didn't think like last qualifier they had some pretty interesting strats, some ones, but overall just having the fragging power of Keloqz and I think the confidence to get in and execute on it and get kills was really like the big difference make for them. It's not like they really revamped their game that significantly. It's just they were way more confident and they just hit their strats like a lot more effectively in general by
Yeah.
just getting more frags and like getting in and being confident with the play. And because I feel like they had some interesting ideas in the past qualifier too, they just couldn't execute on properly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about like crazy strats or anything like that. This team is a fluid team. They react. They go after weaknesses, like especially on a map like Ascent, but just in general, that's what they want to do. Is they want to find gaps. They want to use their good players and just go at the weaknesses on the other side. And Keloqz is the perfect guy to do that. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, like he went for close to twice the entries that Mixwell went for. And he wasn't as successful as Mixwell on like his actual conversion rate, but just going for twice the entries is absurd. Like that is nuts.
Yeah.
Tells you how passive Mixwell was playing, right? And because of that, they're able to up the pace in a way that they weren't before. Last week, they were not a fast team whatsoever. Like they were never like when they would get shut down. They were getting stuck like in positions a lot when the strategies wouldn't work. This time, Keloqz sometimes will just get 3 kills and the round is just over. Like that is a thing that happens often.
Yeah.
I was only passively watching like last week, just like as the games were live. Every time I turned my head, like Keloqz, oh, he just got 3 kills. Okay, cool. Like I go back and then I turn my head back and it's like, oh, Keloqz just died like really fast every single time.
Yeah.
He was such an important point in their entire play. So yeah, I think he helps, but he's not that amazing.
I
don't
was
think he
not
was
impressed
that
with G2 really at all watching them. Like I got the opposite read from watching that match. I thought they were scrappy. I didn't think they were really that cohesive. But the difference was, I think you guys are all correct about the difference. Obviously, Keloqz is getting picks now for them because when you watch the G2 match in the first Open Qualifier, you got Mixwell playing a Jett. He's just not getting picks for them. He'll be upping an angle and he would miss and just have to dash away. Like that's the difference. Keloqz is the one who is going to be getting those picks. He's going to be the ones opening them up. But in terms of just how disciplined the team looked, they didn't look disciplined at all. But I didn't expect them to. You know what I mean? They're throwing Keloqz into the system as well. This team feels like they're just being, I don't know, thrown around with this player, that player, and there's no plan of action when it comes to like what they want out of the roster. It feels like they really are just flying by the seat of their pants because, it felt very scrappy, improv-y. Like a lot of their plays were just based off of, oh, Keloqz has got a pick. Okay, let's do this. Let's pivot here. Let's do this. Let's play this together. Sometimes very individualistic as well. And they were, in some cases, they were kind of, I'm not going to say lucky to qualify because they weren't able to team that qualified, but they had very close matches all throughout this Open Qualifier. It was still, it wasn't an easy win for them, you know what I mean? But no doubt in my mind, Keloqz was absolutely a defining factor for them winning because the fact is he, as hot and cold as he is, some series he will just switch off, but in general he does get those picks for them. And if G2 are leaning on that and relying on that, which they were, then you could just see the success in this match.
Yeah, it's just better than they were last week, and they actually qualified this time.
Yep.
So it's like, we're
the other teams already qualified, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So.
I do think that's to some extent. Well, they did beat teams that they lost to last week, so there's something to be said about that, right? But also, like in this game against XL, there are just some I just think XL were not necessarily the greatest competition for G2.
I liked a lot of XL's looks watching that match. Like it felt like they had more discipline, but I mean G2 they got the experience. You know what I mean? Like they can just run over teams like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm okay with G2 where they're at now, though, and I'd like to see them continue playing with Keloqz, hopefully, because I do think even in the games where they, even in the games where like he would push up and not get a kill, so often in those situations he was at least distracting enough where they could still win out the fight and trade off him, or he would take some risky ass peeks, but he somehow, it looks like he should die, even with the dash, it looks like he should die sometimes, but somehow he dashes away. And then one of his players is able to trade off of him super quick, and they just explode onto the site. Like, it's those little aggressive plays that caused disarray for the other team, and they were actually capitalizing off it. Even when he wasn't getting kills, even when he was just dying, they were trading off of him pretty well.
You generally have to credit him for affecting the other team.
Yeah.
Like, so much. And that is something that you can't. Somebody's doing the lawn in the back.
Oh, no,
I
it's
was
me.
like,
No,
is that
it's
Connor?
me.
Someone being attacked
It's
by
me.
bees?
Yeah, dude, I thought there was a bee on your
there's some-
mic.
No, there's some. I'm surprised you guys can hear it from here. Yeah, there's some work going on in the office. I'll
okay.
mute when I'm not talking,
No, it's okay.
or while it's on.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyhow, but yeah, overall, I think it was decent for G2, and I'm glad they qualified because I'd like to see more of them at this point, to be honest. And also, I saw like Nookie. We just watched the clip of like Nookie talking about why they didn't have Keloqz for a bit and why they were playing, and they benched him, and it had to do with like work ethic and being effective in their practices. Where he was kind of just showing up and whatever. And they did the thing that you had mentioned or like talked about before, Avast, where they bench you for a second, remind you that you're just nothing in the face of the universe. You're but a speck, and then you come back with a new mentality.
And you need to do it to the young kids. You honestly need to do it to young kids a lot that are like that are playing in esports and it's their first professional title. Their egos are out of this world. Their egos are just out of this world. They're out of control, and they're getting paid money to play video game. Like, holy shit, like I'm just crazy. I'm crazy. I can do everything. I'm immortal. And it's like, no, like bench this bitch, and then he's gonna come back and be more professional. And that's just the life. That's just honestly how it goes sometimes. Like, it's just the cycle of competition and dealing with like young, talented guys. And like when they get really good, it's just like they need to be, they need an ego check sometimes. And I think you need to impose a system on them so they can be effective in practice in particular, and making sure they have good habits and play with their teammates. So I think that is really important overall. And that's cool that Nuki elucidated that as well, because like it's nice to sort of get confirmation that was like what the reason happened was. And it sort of just gives further evidence to prove that like sometimes young talented players get benched because they simply, and like honestly I would say probably 75% of the time they get benched is likely because of like attitude, like, or interpersonal issues versus like in-game issues like of their own skill. So it is like very important to remember that when you look at like how rosters are happening and if like a young player is benched overall. And it's cool that Keloqz potentially has grown as a player because of it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see, right? But I'm just saying,
it's
like,
scary as hell to just do that though in a place where you have to qualify or you're not.
Yeah, but that's honestly that's fucking big dick moves from G2. That's big dick moves, and I heavily respect it. I
respect it too, and I've been one of the guys on this podcast has been consistently like leaning into the stuff that we've been hearing about G2 side and like Nookie's like relationship with Keloqz and whatnot. But seeing that interview, it made me very confident in Nookie, his personality, his work ethic, and the fact that he is now leading this team. And the entire way that they actually approached this week, it was a very tough task for him to take over IGLing and do it within a week and get ready for a qualifier that lasts the entire week, where they have to play through the entire open qualifier as well. Like, that is
you took over IGLing for them.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive. I was punching down to G2 because I do stand by my point. I wasn't that impressed with them, but that just means they have more room to grow, I think. And the fact that they qualified means they have time on top of that now as a team. If they want to stick with this team and grow from that, I do see a ton of potential in this. They can add layers to already. They're so good at just adapting off of picks, information that they get on the fly, like whether that's Nuki's calling or whatnot. It feels scrappy, but I mean, the longer they play together, the more polished they're going to be. And they could be a scary team. Seriously.
I'm seriously hyped for seeing what Nuki can do as an actual like IGL like down the line. I hope that they don't change that and he actually like buys into that role wholeheartedly and starts to make a structure on top of the good calling he has, because I'm already like, dude, last week Hoodie and Meta were just like they weren't in the conversation. They were just like doing shit on there, like there was nothing, nobody was using them, nobody was playing off of them. Nothing was happening with Hoodie and Meta. This week, completely different. Like I'm like, damn, like okay, Veto's fucking really good. Hoodie is constantly paired up with Nuki, doing amazing double peaks and just really good stuff in terms of sure, it's scrappy, whatever. It's like not anything mind blowing, but just they're actually starting to work within the system. Well, not a system. There is no system, but they're actually starting to work with the fundamentals of the game to make something useful.
Anarchist Balla just dropped.
All right, and then after this run where they have actually qualified now with Keloqz, and Nuki had said as well that he was happy that Keloqz had, at least right now, had fixed some of those problems with the practice and the personality issues they were having, and that things were, at least for this qualifier, better. Mixwell has been officially benched and has now posted on Twitter he's looking for a team, can go somewhere else, all that. So what do you guys think about Mixwell's future in the game? What are his options? Because honestly, I think the first thing that comes to mind to me is maybe it would have just been best for him to stay on the Killjoy Viper kind of role and try and work at that rather than go back to Duelist, where I think there's even more pressure on him to perform. When he was actually, I thought, doing overall pretty well with the Killjoy Viper. What do you guys think, though?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, I think. Mixwell, I mean, if he wants to continue being a pro player, I'm imagining he's got like a bit of a bag built up, off of his time in G2. So
I mean, also his stream and everything.
Yeah, he's got tons of options. The question comes down to, does he still want to compete? Because like he could find success in the scene still outside of it. And from that tweet, it looks like he does still want to compete. He wants to play in that role, but I don't know. The EU region in particular is competitive when it comes to this. Like, I don't think
he'll find a Spanish team insta.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, boom.
Yeah, I don't think I'll have issues finding a team.
Anybody to find to get Mixwell on that team.
I think Duelist is a tough thing for him though, just because like the level of competition on Duelist in particular is just so high now, and it's only getting higher. And I feel like he has like strong mechanics.
What did he say in the tweet? He said like central flex. I don't know what central means.
I think he said Sentinel. I think he misspelled it. Yeah, he misspelled it.
Oh yeah, Sentinel might be.
Yeah, so I feel like that's
Okay.
I like the look that we saw of him.
I can't read.
When he was on Viper and stuff. Like, I feel like there's room for him.
He also spelled Sentinel like he's fucking 50 Cent.
Sure, but
Sentinel. I mean, he doesn't spell it like
because English isn't his first language, but I like.
Also,
so I can understand why you got it incorrect.
It's
okay. Yeah, I mean, it's
Whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I think him swapping off of Duelist is potentially good.
What? He spelled it like he's 50. Yeah, 50 Sentinel.
50 Sentinel.
Dude, there's got to be someone in Valorant with that
There's
alias.
Zoomer that's going to be called
Sentinel.
50 Sentinel.
Oh
he comes out and plays. That'd actually be kind of epic. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be kind of cool.
All right, suit up, Avast.
Yeah, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna be 50 Sentinel. I'm gonna get my own proprietary game and shit. I'm gonna tell people to read.
Oh, guys, Bren is pouring out of the thermos. It's time to move on.
The thermos going.
Do you think
This man's ready to brave the elements. I mean, you just when you have a thermos like that and you pour it like that, it looks like you're ready to make a YouTube video where you and your dog go build a cabin out in the woods and you live there for a year vlogging. That's the kind of thermos you have.
Well, with the shot, what do you mean? Like the size of it?
Yeah, it's like the size of it. I don't know. The size of it, you're pouring the drink, you see the steam coming off. That's just, you can just imagine the close-up shot. I spent 365 days in a cabin I built in the woods. And then that's one of the shots in the montage.
Well, it'd be like a close-up shot of like, you wouldn't see your face. It's just the hand pouring.
Right.
The coffee would be coming out of the thermos into the mug. And that
would
be like
there would be a shot afterwards of like the camera on the floor and me walking down like a path with the dog following me.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
maybe. Or maybe like you take a sip of it, you set the cup back down, it's like half a drink, there's a little coffee stain on the side or something. Like this is also when we start our videography course. Flat chat, so be on the
yeah, Bren out there chopping wood. Honestly, I would be interested in that. I don't know how we could get. Could we get you up to that? Could we get you up to going and living out in the woods?
Yes,
for like a year.
I'll do it for free.
For free, you just do, but
for content.
For free, but for content.
Yes.
For the sake of the Plat chat content. Now, I would find that utterly entertaining. Okay, with Mixwell though, I guess final point. Do you guys? So I guess I just want to touch on the role thing. Like, do you guys think that he should stay Duelist? Do you think that he should have gone back to Duelist in the first place, or was that just where it went
wrong? They probably just needed him there, because if they're saying Keloqz got
Yeah.
benched because of like the performance stuff, and he was saying like he only moved roles because one of the players
Because
benched themselves.
Fifth benched himself.
He's just I mean the guy is just like the driven guy. He plays whatever the team needs to win. Like they needed a Jett player. He's played Jett in the past. I didn't.
Yeah, but dude, the way that I read what he says, he constantly is like, guys, don't forget, like I was playing Jett and I had to go play a different role for the team. Like you know what, that doesn't feel like he actually wanted to do any of that, and he
Sure.
just like was kind of forced into that direction, and that is the vibe I get from it, rather than, you know, I don't know, I do feel like he's saying the truth. And even on the switch back to Jett, it was probably they're not going to get Hoodie and Meadow if Mixwell's playing those roles.
Mhm.
So, and that probably is coming as a duo and from Giants. Like, so we need Mixwell, you need to go somewhere else. You know, you need to go to a different role. That's probably that's my read on the situation. But
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think I was with you guys in terms of like him. I feel like he definitely fit better on the Killjoy and Viper on that team, but I don't think that it was something spectacular that he needed to stick to, you know,
Sure.
or G2 needed to stick with. I think they could have gotten an upgrade at that position, and I think they did get an upgrade at that position. So,
Gotcha. Alongside G2, London United. They pull it off.
They did it.
London United qualify. Also, I mean, London United is just no UK players. Just no one from London, no one from the greater UK. I mean, it's just all Lithuanians, isn't it? Like,
There's Lithuanians and there's one Polish player, I believe. Mostly,
I mean, it just has zero to do with London whatsoever. But they're united. They stood strong, and goddamn it, they got the last seed. They made it through.
They were a cool team. They were actually a fun team to watch. Like I have a couple of clips from them, Kurt, that I gave you. Like they played Fracture a lot too, because in general EMEA has been playing Fracture more than like a lot of the other regions.
Mm-hmm.
But they played Fracture a lot, and it kind of showed because I'm not quite sure, but I don't think they dropped Fracture at all anytime they played it during.
Yeah, they lost to Vitality in their first
they lost
match.
Vitality. Okay, well then outside of Vitality, like,
but it was
still,
in overtime, 16-14.
They pulled it out a lot. Like they were really good on Fracture. It showed they prepped pretty heavily for it, and they had a lot of like They were extremely aggressive defensively too. So overall, like I think that this team was pretty interesting. And they had kind of a nut on that team as well. It's
nut.
Yeah, they have an actual nut player. I'm thinking it's Mulsey. I believe. Yeah, Mulsey. He's their secondary duelist.
Yeah.
And he was out fragging their Jett like the entire challengers. And he was playing like Sova and Reyna and like Raze and shit. And he was just popping the fuck off. Like this retake here is just like so cool. They have someone set up with a judge. They have their Viper set up with a judge the whole time in tower. So XL never has tower control at any point this entire time. And then they just like over peak, get a kill, and then they have like this really, really cool setup with Mulsey here, who follows up off that. Here it comes. It's gonna pop up. There's gonna be the breach ult, and then it's just so free. It's literally so free. It's just like, and they had like a lot of great retakes like this, where they're just like really, really aggressive with their utility. And they just like have really strong map control as well. I really liked them on Fracture, and it showed they'd put like a lot of work into prepping for it.
They were the
setup is so silly. It's
so
funny. It's just a little
it's just an
gremlin in the tower
up there.
They were my favorite team to watch this time through. They didn't make it through to close last time because they lost to Big, which was also another bright spot in the EU qualifiers.
Yeah.
And this time they were very, very impressive. After their loss to Vitality, which they kind of lost the veto in that one, although they did play Fracture. But either way, like they are on top of timings, trading. Like they are really, really good at. They kind of felt like, you know, the thing that we're talking about with Rise, how tight they are, how the spacing is always good, and they have some of the best push and pull on defense that I think I've ever seen. in this game. Like sometimes it's not necessarily the best choices all the time, but they're constantly re-clearing areas. They're constantly re-aggressing on Fracture specifically. It works because obviously that's the goal of a defensive side, is to try to get these pinches flipped on the attack. And so many times you see exactly what just happened, where there's Feku and Molesy playing in halls, and then they actually are able to pinch the entire attacking side because the other two push from the other side.
Yeah,
And then
I mean,
that
they did
game,
this all the time too. Like on so many different maps, they did it on Ascent too. They went for some of the most fucking crazy aggressive mid fights on Ascent, and it was just like so well timed. Like their map control on defense is really nice. They were a really really aggressive team.
Okay.
they're implementing chamber too, which was
Yeah,
something
a
that
lot of
he's
chamber play.
not really doing that much of, except
I think
for
that's actually we have
Vitality
another
tried it
clip
this
of
time.
them on Ascent on chamber on defense, and they do like another really cool play
Dude,
with
show
the
me this
chamber
chamber.
on.
Oh, that just matter of fact. That reminds me. I'm getting up early, dude. First of all, I'm a fucking Sigma male, so I'm like getting up early and just then like making oatmeal and stuff with protein powder in it. Okay, so
Okay.
What's going on?
this is what
Okay.
Kurt pulls
Chewy
up his
oatmeal.
clip.
Okay, great, sure.
What's happening?
This is what Kurt pulls his clip up. I'm getting up. It's like it's 8:31 a.m.
in the morning.
It's 8:31.
Did that catch on mic? Did that catch on mic? Did they hear? Are they gonna hear that on the podcast?
Kurt.
Kurt just blasted.
What's going on?
Fart
What is
sound from
happening?
the speakers.
Kurt, can you? Will
You said
pull-
it was 8:30 in the morning.
Will you pull up that clip?
I've had the Avast clip ready for like.
Oh, I mean, you can just play it whenever.
but what if Avast wants to talk over
What's your
it?
story?
I mean,
Oh no, because someone said something. Okay, really quick.
Why
I mean, this
story?
does.
Why
I was just.
story?
I was just. Because
Taking a dump at 8:30
I was
in the
getting
morning.
up. It was 8:31. I hear. Brr. I check my phone, and I just see a message from Balla, and it just the notification on my phone said, "This is in the group chat, the Plat
Now
chat
I'm
group chat at
confused.
8:31 a.m." Balla just posts, "Guys, here's some chamber porn," and I just look at my phone like, "The fuck?" I'm like, "I'm going back to bed."
Yeah, switch.
Dude, I'm like, all right, Balla is acting up 8:31 a.m. in the group chat. I'm going back to bed. What the fuck is happening?
Well,
all
let's
right,
see the
Kurt,
clip. Let's see the clip on a sit now that we
Yeah, let's see the
had
clip.
this talk.
What
So,
the f-
this is it's a rather
Oh, the
interesting.
mid crunch.
It's a rather interesting one. Yeah, it's the mid crunch here from, and you see like they're droning mid. They have people set up on cat, and as soon as they take this contact, there's the fault line, there's the drone. They're clearing so aggressively through. I mean, it's just crazy. Like it's so well timed, and they did this a lot on a lot of different extremities on a lot of different maps too.
So the thing that they normally do on Ascent, and probably that XL has been reading into, and actually you could tell that was they're constantly putting alarm bot in mid from Dreammass, who's playing chamber, and so fast XL wants to walk up, break that alarm bot so that they can have control of that area later on if they want to, and boom, instantly right off the bat, after they recognize, oh, XL is breaking the alarm bot, they just pinch. Like such a sick strat because they've commit so much to mid to break the alarm bot. Boom.
All right,
Fun stuff.
very nice.
So do you want to
Yeah,
look
that
at some
wasn't
chamber
that
play
one
now?
actually wasn't the clip.
What's the
I was thinking. I was thinking of the
chamber
chamber clip, but maybe I did not send that.
Were
to
you
you,
allowed to
Kurt?
show it on stream?
Yeah,
No,
I don't know if we can-
The
oh,
chamber
I
porn?
didn't send the chamber clip.
No.
because I'm
This is
dumb.
different. This is different. The chamber porn.
Where's the chamber clip, or are you
No,
actually
I don't
just straight up
think
talking
it's-
about porn?
It's labeled
No.
chamber porn.
It-
Like, what do you?
It's an actual clip.
No, there is
Uh,
a clip. Balla sent it. It's in the match recap thread. But
I don't
my
know if you
clip.
should-
I forgot my clip. My clip I didn't
Let me
send to you
find
'cause
it.
I was like, fuck it.
It's some
Right.
Oh
dude.
my
it's
God.
it's really nice. You have to watch.
He thinks it's nice.
guys, this chamber clip is really nice.
Okay,
It's gonna be nice. Don't worry.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
No,
I'm
it's
ready for this.
not safe for work, guys. It's fine.
Oh, it's
You
not
don't
safe
have
for
to-
work because it's sick.
30 seconds
What
on
is
the clock.
what is this?
We've got the tour de force out. This is Vitality on Breeze against London United. 25.
Shadow.
What are we gonna do, guys? What are we gonna do? Let's walk A hall, or let's walk tunnels. Get on to A. We're getting seekered. Let's rotate. Come on. Boom, tour de force. Oh fuck, 14 seconds. We gotta run through the slot. We gotta run through the
Oh my
He
god.
fucked himself with his own slow.
They have to run their own
no.
chamber
Oh my
slow.
That is so funny.
That's tragedy. Friendly fire.
That is
That's
so
tragedy.
funny. Oh my
Good.
god.
That's a good
Okay,
clip.
I did want to ask you though. Even though they came out in the lower, like the lower brackets of qualified, do you guys think they look better than G2?
That's really hard. I feel like that's a really hard question. G2, dude, they had Nuki, Avova, like, Keloqz even are so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like it's
Nuki
it's
was going
insane.
dumb.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's so hard to compare. They didn't play against each other, but like strategically, London United is way past them.
Mm.
Like obviously, they've had more time to work on stuff like that. This is a team that's been together for a while now, and they've been grinding the tier 2 scene. And G2 is just like formed their new roster and whatever, and changed their IGL. But you could even, I think London United did, because the trading, the fundamentals, all the adaptation that they need to do on their attack sides, because their attack sides are not that great, still makes me think that if they did play, I feel like London United would be able to beat them.
Yeah, they look pretty good from a strategic level comparatively. I mean, they're one. It's tough to see like what exactly, because like I don't know. Their Jett player FeQ is like pretty good, but I think he struggles at points, so that could be like a downside when you compare to someone that can like just pop the fuck off like Keloqz at times. They rely like a lot on their secondary duelists to get a lot of kills, but also Molsey, but also their like overall synergy, and FeQ is willing to just like give up his life to like get entries, and like he's willing to just play good fundamentals too as a duelist player. So I don't think it's necessary that he has to be like hard fragging for them. So I think they're right now strategically they probably look pretty good. I'm still not sure if they're looking totally better than them, but I think probably as a cohesive unit currently, then yeah, maybe.
I think Boo and Deshrin are low key like really, really.
I really
Deshrin
like them.
is such a good anchor. Boo makes such smart plays and also has just such good supportive. Like I've never seen anybody do this, but on Ascent, like every time they want to close a switch after re-aggroing B main, they want to close the door for market. You have Boo putting down an Astra Star and recalling it so you can walk safely to that switch and press the button. I've never seen a team do that. And he's constantly doing little things like that with his stars to help his teams get into good position. I want Kurt, can you pull up the stats page for Challengers 2? I want to show the kill assist survival trade ratio for this team compared to everybody else. This is like my case. Take off the open qualifier. So click none for the open qualifier. Down, and apply filter. And then sort by cast. Yeah. Look at that. London United, London United, London United, London United. Like all 5 players are within the top 10. G2 has Nuki and Avova.
Right. Damn, that's crazy.
That's like a teamwork stat. That's not necessarily like, oh, they have high casts, like they're gonna win, but it shows how good they are at trading, how good they are at surviving, how like it's just an overall teamwork stat, and they're all up there, every single player.
That is very cool. That is a cool little stat actually. All right.
What's her name is better than G2, so you know, sounds very 3-head, but it's a better name.
Dude, did you know they're supported by the mayor of London?
Wow.
What? By the mayor?
On their Twitter banners.
It says on the Twitter
supported
banner.
by the mayor.
Really?
What?
Kurt, can we? Where does it?
Supported by the mayor of London.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Isn't
that like the Queen or something?
Wait, wait. Esports for good for gamers.
Is this an actual? It's not an org, right?
It is. They're verified.
It is an org.
It's an org.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at their logo.
Well, I mean that's not. But that's not the logo. That's the meme, and they're holding the flag with the
They're
logo.
holding the logo.
Yeah, they're
on
trying
the
to be
Yeah, the
relatable.
logo's on
Yeah,
the
okay.
flag.
They're like, oh, you guys like memes, right? Check this
I
shit out.
didn't know if it was like another Summon FC situation. You know what I mean?
No.
Where people
This-
just
I
assume
think
they
this
were
is-
signed because they have a fancy name. Why are we subscribing
Put
to
the Plat chat
newsletter?
email in for the newsletter.
Yeah, go put our email in there.
Get it,
Plat
get it.
Let's get the
chat.
newsletter.
Yep, there it is. Okay, one of the other teams. I mean, we could just look at their website.
They got a
too.
hype video here too.
They got a video and they got clothes.
They got clothes.
What a base in
Yeah.
the UK.
They got all sorts of shit. They got all sorts of shit.
Based in the UK.
I mean, yeah, man.
London United.
Good point, Bren.
Imagine if their name was like London United and they were based out of like some just random ass city.
Bro, they might be. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah,
You really
just
don't trust
Jack
this
in the
org, huh?
city.
Yeah, everybody in the world wants to be from London.
Yeah. It's
It's
true.
Yeah.
Actually, that's
True.
not true. I had a guy
I wake
throw
up
my
every
ranked game
single
because
day.
I was British the other day.
Really?
Yep.
I'm just on some 1776.
I said, yo, what's up, team? And
Revolutionary.
I said, what's up, team? He said,
action.
are you British? And I was like, yeah, I am. And he was like, I hate British people. I hate British people. And then he just bought shotguns only and entered my game.
And ruin your game?
Mhm.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
fucked up, but also kind of funny.
Yeah.
I've never.
But don't
I've
worry,
never
I'm
heard
out of the
that.
social experiment queue now.
Oh,
Wyatt
yeah?
had me in a special bubble where they were like, well, Brennon's been very good. He's very good at settling down teammates and being the quality anchor for the ranked teammates. We'll put the worst of the worst with him. And now I'm out of it. The social experiment's over.
That's good.
So
That's positive.
Yeah.
That's a positive, good
Are you gonna
resolution.
end the statement that you're okay?
say again.
You're gonna end this statement by saying you're okay as well, like you did earlier.
Next topic.
Okay.
Just next topic.
Okay.
I think I'm getting scared. Kurt's gonna play a fart noise.
No, he won't. No, he's not going to. Not going. It won't be funny.
Just imagine. Yeah, I
It's like
can't.
being
I can't
Nickelodeon
overdo it.
slime.
If he does it again, it won't be funny. Navi, they make
What
it
if
through
I do it
over in
again?
the CIS region. They didn't make it the first time, but they make it through the second time. So they're going to be in the group stage of the first qualifier. Hello?
Hello.
What?
Hello? Is this thing on?
Me?
It's just-
What's going on?
You just stopped.
What?
why,
There's nothing
I
wrong.
was waiting for somebody
Oh.
to talk.
Dude, I
was
had
hoping someone would have
I had an
something to
out-of-body
say about
I had an
Navi.
out-of-body experience.
I
man.
Hello?
actually just psychically linked with Bren because I was also not in this
My
round.
brain turned off.
I'm just pausers. Anybody did
My brain
I
turned off,
thought-
man.
I mean, what's the question here about Navi? I mean, like, I think Navi, they look all right.
Yeah,
From last time, they looked pretty good. I mean,
Yes.
like,
I was
JD's still
really-
a fucking beast.
I'm
JD's still a beast.
yeah.
I got that going on.
Yeah, I was hoping that like someone after I would say like, oh, so Navi, they made it through the lower bracket. They didn't make it through the first time. They made it through this time, and then someone could like and then someone could be like, well, I think Navi, like say something about Navi. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'd say
Connor
they
just
look
did, so.
decent. I think they look decent overall. I watched the match. They look decent. I think they have they have some pretty good players on it still. And like the problem is that they're still kind of, I don't know. It just seems like they just don't have it all together yet. And they have like some great ideas. I think they're particularly the one map that they lost in the lower bracket finals of CIS, I believe. Or I should say the grand finals because they played it was lower final versus Tactical 5. So they played, it was Icebox, and they struggled they kind of struggled a bit, I think, to deal with a lot of the executes and like the Sage gameplay. Even though they had like cool idea with their walls, it just seems like currently they're just struggling to be cohesive. But they have good players. They have they have a solid core here, and I think JD is still a freak. Remember when that guy first like kind of exploded out because he played for, who did he play for
It was
before
on
this?
NIP. He was
NIP,
doing
yeah.
pretty well. Yeah.
And he was kind of a freak. Like they have
How
some
do
solid
they
individual talent on this team. It's just they're still trying to figure it out.
how do they compare to the EMEA teams? I haven't watched their games because I was catching up on Turkey and stuff. But
I mean, I think they looked worse this week than they did last week. And comparing now, I'm a little sketched.
yeah,
I think they suffer from like CIS syndrome. Like,
what
we've
do you
seen.
mean?
like, dude,
They're squatting all the time.
dude, they're just like every time the execute comes with 25 seconds left. The classic
Oh, I
Navi,
see.
you know? Oh, is
Yeah.
this the round with the dude? They are literally the the kings of weird ass plants. Like,
Yeah.
like look at this. Look at that wall. They're planting on the left side of the site. Never before
What?
seen. Look at this.
Yeah.
They win this round. It's actually really fucking cool. But dude, bring up the next one too. The second weird plant spot.
They had some very weird plants.
They were going for some crazy shit. So not only is it like they hit the sites with only 20 seconds every single time, but they also are going for crazy stuff that is a little too creative. Like why? Like why are you still trying to hit mid on Icebox? Like why? Like why? Why is that a thing? And it's every single time, like at least 5 times a half, they'll try to hit mid. It's like so weird. Okay, this is the second one. Again, 30 seconds left. And this one's kind of cool actually because the enemy Sova has ult, and with 20 seconds left, they have to get the plant down.
Oh.
So what does he do? He walls again diagonally and plants on the front side of the site. And it almost works, but it doesn't because now he's stuck and he can't get out.
Yeah, I mean, dude, just innovation on Icebox is just, unfortunately, it's only gone so far.
I mean, it could be kind of cool.
Oh, I mean, it's cool. I love to see innovation on Icebox.
Nice.
And you always get excited when you do see it, and then it doesn't work, and then you just get sad. Like,
They got boned a lot by like Sage walls on this too. Like the last round they lost was because they had planted a site and they weren't able to kill the lockdown again, because it's what happened to like in the Excel versus G2 match where G2 was set up and they had the Hunter's Fury to kill lockdown, but then they just KO ulted and denied the Sova ult. And like after about like towards the end of it. So like and they got boned because they got repositioned out, and then they just like the fucking, what was their name? I forgot their name at this point. Tactical 5. They just save wall the whole time. They did some boring unoriginal Sage gameplay of popping down a wall and you can't kill them and it's on Icebox, and then they defuse and it was epic. Very epic and cool. So, but they have good talent, I think, on the team. It's just they're just figuring out like what, I still think they're working a lot on like some of their individual plays, and like Balla said, they sometimes just let the clock run really, really low and do some weird shit.
Yeah. Do they have any chance in this group stage coming up? Are they decent enough to actually upset some of these teams, or where are they at? Because last I watched, I enjoyed watching Navi at the end of 2021. But yeah, have they come far enough to actually try and make a dent in this first qualifier?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's possibilities of upsets. I don't think that they're like a guaranteed playoff team, but they have a chance. It's not like for me, like how I feel about SMB, like where there's like no chance of playoffs. I think they definitely have a chance, and based on the group that they're in too, I think it'll be very, very interesting. But we'll talk about the groups later. I am disappointed because they felt like they went backwards this qualifier. And maybe that's because they had to make the lower bracket run in the first place, because they lost their first game against Five Smokes. Is that their name? Yeah, Five Smokes 2-0 in the first time. And I think that game they lost because SSK7 and Cloud, who are like big time players on that team, like they're the guys that you expected to do very, very well. They just weren't playing well. And that's scary that that's happening enough for them to consistently be losing maps in a lower bracket against teams that they really shouldn't be. Maybe if they lost a map against KPI, I'd be like, okay, cool. But Five Smokes was not that good, and neither was Tactical 5, you know? So I'm kind of scared. And then they threw that 3-2 reverse sweep against FPX, which is like unbelievable.
Yeah. Old FPX. All right, and we'll get in the last spot for the qualifier from Turkey. BBL. BBL have qualified through. I have not seen much from BBL in actual eons since I've seen footage of BBL playing the game. How did they make it? How did they make it through? Turkey is one of the things that I've just never really been able to follow. I mean, I know of when they cross over into the wider European scene, but I have no idea what's been occurring in that scene, and isolated state over the past few months. But how have BBL managed to get through here instead of like Footballist or Fireflux, who came in second in the previous one? How did BBL get in? I'm aware of Footballist and Fireflux, but BBL have just been struggling for a while, as far as I remember.
They look pretty disciplined. Like when I was watching this match, I feel my one takeaway, the overwhelming takeaway, was they look pretty patient and disciplined, which normally is not the case, because when I think of Turkey as a region when it comes to Valorant, like good mechanics, not afraid to use them. You know what I mean? Not afraid to use them, not afraid to take fights, not afraid to take duels. And they've got good mechanics. They're not afraid to take fights, but they play a slow game on a lot of the maps. And I was looking, and I was doing like the deep dive on Haven as well, looking at their play. Their attack side on Haven was the most boring shit I've ever watched in my life. They just hit A over and over again. But
was it boring? I mean, was it good?
It was boring
and bad.
The reaction from their opponents in the match was just play retake, and it was just the same thing over and over again, and there was no effort to change it up. But they seem to think a lot about the macro sense of the game. Like, what I mean by that is they like to set up Kushner, like their Jett player, their Oppa. They like to set Kushner up to succeed by like heavy conditioning. So like a lot of these clips I'm showcasing, they are putting a lot of pressure into, this is just the VOD, this isn't one of the clips that I pulled, but it might be one of them actually, yeah. I can't remember which one is, this is in the overtime when okay, this is so silly actually. This is again, the attack side on Haven, they're just hitting A, and they can't make up their mind. They haven't cleared any of the util across the rest of the map. So they're trying to think about a macro play, but they don't do a good job of, like, for example, killing the KJ util to threaten that they might be lurking. And then the KO knife spots and they're like, oh, fuck, there's 28 seconds left. We got to hit the site. And then they just brute force it with their aim. Like, they get lucky. They don't die to the op. But this was an example I pointed out because it was actually, weirdly enough, a bit of a rare exception, because across the board, they tend to have a good idea of how to play the game. And, like, their Haven A lobby plays, like, they would commit a ton of utility into it at various points. Like, they would do smokes, Sova Dart, stuns with the breach, or like a pull with the Astra. They'd commit stuff on defense side, and then once they had conditioned their opponents to like respect them, all they needed was like a recalled smoke and a Sova Dart, and they could put Kushner up on the angle of an op, and he just gets information for most of that round, and they just move the players over towards C and B. It was cool to watch them on Haven, but they definitely have holes in the rest of their play as well, because their bind was kind of egregious. Because again, they lean on Kushner so much, but they moved Kushner off of Jett when they go to bind. They play like very. It reminds me of, Ascend when Ascend play split. They play like comfort roles, like kind of very simple agents where you can play off of each other very easily. And the issue for them is that Mudge just doesn't hit when he plays Jett, because that's what they had. Normally Mudge plays their Sova, and Aslan has to play Sova in this instance, and it's just uncomfortable. I think this was the chaos round that I pulled up. This was just insane. I think it just indicates just how uncomfortable they are, because they commit a bunch of ults to try and come in, and they're trying to get the plant down here. You want to see this ult, I think, that comes out from Aslan as well. A little bit later into this round, he's like, "Oh, I've got the Hunter's Fury," and then they're trying to contest Heaven with it, and Mudge is pushing in. Just look at this overall. Where's it aiming at? Where's it going? It's going into the stratosphere. It's going into the sky. Like, there were moments like this. This was the prime example that they were just like uncomfortable playing bind. Yeah. But that's normal, Teams don't have.
That is so silly.
Teams don't have perfect map pools, so that's to be expected, Yeah. But yeah, in general, they know what their win con is. It's setting up Kushner on the Jett to succeed, whether he's opping, and Kushner absolutely does pop off for them. He's one of those Jett players that can create magic with the knives, will create magic with the op, will dominate in that kind of fashion, and they know that that's their win condition. So they play around him. It's not like they're just... When I compared them to G2, because those are the two most recent teams I was watching and trying to take in comparisons for, like, Keloqz is just sometimes left to his own devices, but Kushner, they make an active effort to try and set up him for success, because they know that he's one of their major win cons. So I walked away from watching them. I thought, okay, yeah, I think they could actually do some damage in the EMEA qualifiers. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched after watching the first map, I was like, I know exactly how this is gonna go after looking, because whatever map Kushner is able to actually have an active role jet hopping,
Mhm.
they're gonna win. And if it's something else, they're gonna lose. And that's literally how the entire tournament went for them. It's absurd. This kid is crazy.
Yeah, he is. He's
He
nuts.
is genuinely like potentially like mini CNED. Like I don't know why his name is not like what was CNED's brother's name? Denksy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Why is he not Nedsy? You know, like what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
He is absurd. And it's weird because last week we talked about who qualified? SMB, and they have that guy, Cider X. And I'm like, I looked it up. I'm like, oh, they have X at the end of their name. They must be fucking, you know,
They have to be
friends or
good.
something like. They were on a team together, and they were nuts. So this guy is ridiculous.
Yeah. I liked as well
Is
watching
it
him.
Executioner or is it Executioner X? Like I don't.
Executioner, I think, but I was trying to listen to the commentators, but it was hard to pick up. That clip there as well was just AIM and Mush just playing off of each other, which is normally if teams are like their game plan is setting up their jet player and their layers of strategy comes down to like setting them up, and it's one of the things that's usually missing from those teams is being able to adapt on the fly and use what utility you have to just look at a situation and play around it. And in there, like AIM and Mudge are just playing off of each other. Like the stun comes in, the dart comes in. There's another like retake that they have here where they've got good coordination between them when they're in these scenarios as well. Like the team looks very very disciplined, but still like missing a couple of pieces as well here and there in terms of just their general gameplay.
I
what do you think
remember.
about Pora?
Pora was feeding in this Haven game, in this Haven map. But fed his brains out, unfortunately. Just getting caught
so weird.
in awful timings. Like awful
You
timings,
would
but I think that's
expect
also
Pora to be like the best player on the team after
I know,
playing
right?
on SMB and Heretics, but he was just not good.
Yeah.
And they still won.
They did still win, yeah. Because Pora's role was, I think, to just try and contain like whenever they would lurk into garage. But again, I think Footballers didn't do a good job of clearing his util, really. So
How was Aslan looking? Because I remember being impressed by Aslan like around the same time I was impressed with the release of the iPod Nano. I mean, it was a long time ago.
It was a while ago.
It was a long time ago. I have not seen him for ages. I mean, his stats look good, but stats don't always tell the story.
Aslan was good.
He was nasty.
Yeah.
On Ascent specifically, he was absurd. Because I was like, damn, Kushner's just like literally having so much impact. And then you look at the stats, and Aslan has 10 more kills than him. Like,
yeah,
he's crazy, and he understands like timing really well. The amount of times that he's like pushing through smokes and getting two with his teammate pushing through at the same time, not pushing through a smoke, or at least peeking off of the timing that he has as well is really, really nice. I think he's good. The reason I'm cautiously optimistic about this team more than I was about SMB, because they do have that synergy and SMB was completely missing it. But I'm just not certain that they actually, outside of Kushner, they actually will be able to contend on an individual level against the teams that they're going to be playing against in EMEA.
Yeah,
that's my fear.
We'll have to see. I think with Aslan as well, they do give him a bit of free agency. I don't know if it's just the nature of it when they're with Pura, just because normally a lot of players, they have their Astra player kind of play a bit of a lurking role, especially on like attack side defense or whatever, where they don't want him going in because they get so much value over time with the Astra util. But they just trust him to lock down sites sometimes, and he pops off like that. So
yeah. You know what, Kurt? Let's switch it around. We're here. We were just talking about it a little bit. Let's do it now. Do you want to do the EMEA group predictions and hot takes right now? Because we were just talking about it. Well, how they're going to do? Let's just do that now. It aligns. It aligns with the, you know what I mean, the story and the narrative. And let's do these preds right now, since that's
predictions
finally coming up. It should be on VLR. If you go to I don't know, you can just type in Fnatic, go to their team page, and then probably it'll show an upcoming match or something like that.
I don't think it's in VLR yet.
Is it not? I swear I saw it on VLR.
Oh, maybe.
Oh
yeah, if you go to the here, I'll link it in the chat.
All right.
If you go to the actual, yeah, there you go. You got it.
He's got it. Curtis has got it up. Yeah, so the group stage is confirmed. That starts on, what is it, February 11th? All right.
2 weeks.
So what do we got here? On the left, Group A, Gambit, Liquid are the teams that just start in the group, and then Big and FPX, teams that qualified in the first round, and London United and Navi, the teams just qualified. And then in Group B, the teams that were auto-placed there were Ascend and Fnatic, and then Guild and SMB qualified, and then G2 and BBL qualified into Group B. So in Group A, I mean, you gotta think that Gambit and Liquid are still in good enough form to just clean that up and get through in the top 2, right? I mean, surely.
Yeah.
I think Liquid for sure. For some reason, I feel really weird about Gambit in this group because they've got the 2 CIS teams. I don't know why that
it's going to be like some sort of like matter and antimatter meeting. And
Well,
then Gambit just loses.
I know where you're coming from because it's the same logic with like Crew versus the Brazilian teams, like with regular scrim partners. But I think Gambit do scrim like the CIS teams. That geographically, they cross over a lot more. You know.
Yes, yeah. But my I don't know, just seeing Gambit with FPX, for example, just flashbacks. But I don't know. That Gambit is always a team that I'm gonna be like, I think they're one of the best. To me, they are the best team in the world, but they're gonna play to the level of their opponents in some cases. And seeing the CIS teams with them, and even a team like Big, who strategically is just like really, really good. It scares me. I know this looks easy on paper for them, but that's my fear in this group, Gambit.
Gotcha. Do you think is that a big enough fear that you don't think that Gambit might not make top 3?
No. They should easily.
Yeah, because it definitely looks like. I mean, I think Gambit and Liquid should easily be the top 2 teams in this group.
Yeah,
there's no way they don't. There's no way they don't make the top cut.
It would be pretty shocking.
There's no way. Okay, so who's gonna make it in third though? Is it finally happening?
They were gassing up London.
Honestly, London, they are pretty nice with it. They are nice with it, but I don't know. I feel the problem I have with London is I just don't know if like I think they have. I don't know if what their current overall talent level is. I just know their current team coordination is really nice, and they have like some very strong players. But I don't know. They could have some potential weak spots. So I just need to see. I've only really watched them this past challengers for EMEA, obviously, in this team. So like, I don't know. They're kind of an unknown, and like, do they keep up their performances in high stakes games? And like, how well does their strats continue to work? Like, where a team's gonna start figuring out, like, okay, they're gonna do some crazy shit in mid here and like start counter stratting them. So, I don't know. I mean, of the teams, I feel like the one that stands out to me the most to make third would probably be London, honestly. But I don't know.
It looks pretty open, no?
It's fucking hard. I genuinely think any of those 4 teams still have a chance to take that last slot. I don't think any of these are pushovers are going to get completely like wiped, go 0-6 or 0-5 or whatever. So yeah, people were hating on this group being easy and stuff, but that last spot is definitely hard.
I mean, it might be locked in for like Gambit and Liquid more than likely, but there's still so much variance within the other 4 teams. So
yeah, definitely. I don't think Group B is okay. How much do we buy into the Fnatic online versus LAN for Group B? How much are we buying into that? And how much are we going on? Dude, you're going to throw your neck out. And how much? I mean, I just don't know. And also, I really don't know what to think about Fnatic with Brave. I simply do not know what to think about their new addition. If you buy into like the Fnatic online stuff after seeing them at LAN and then seeing them, is there a possibility of them not making out in Group B? I mean, it seems like surely all of us here are just going to say yes, Ascend are making it through because yes, Ascend are making it through. I mean, that would be a cataclysmic failure of astounding proportions if Ascend don't make the top 3 in this group. Yeah. I have a lot of confidence in Guild making out of this group too. This new Guild roster is the truth. I have a lot of fucking confidence in Guild.
Yeah, it's Fnatic I'm worried about.
But who would take Fnatic out? Who is gonna...
If G2 suddenly got their shit together,
Yeah, G2 have room to
You
grow,
think
but I
G2
don't know if they'll be able to do it that quickly.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think
that quick,
SMB
though?
or BBL are making it out.
It's weird. The thing is, it should be a lock for the top 3, like Ascend, Fnatic, Guild, but the narrative that's still hanging over Fnatic's head, as much as they're saying it's like dismissed with their LAN performance, is the fact that they didn't perform well online at all leading into it, with some rare exceptions where they did. But they also, coming across the interviews around champs when we were talking to them, they were basically saying that they were always confident coming into it, and they were just using the online as a way to test stuff in a more official circumstance.
Yeah.
I think was the general vibe I was getting from the interviews. So, given the importance of this, I imagine that they're going to have their shit together. But again, you bring up a good point with like Brave throws in the unknown element. But yeah, I look at Group A. I see the 3rd slot as way more open compared to Group B based on the facts that we know. Like, it just should be Ascend, Fnatic, Guild in the top 3, I think. Like, it just should be. But we don't.
I think we're discounting G2 a little bit against, specifically against Fnatic. Like, and
Yeah.
maybe that's the problem for it, is that it doesn't matter how G2 matches up against Fnatic, because I think they match up very well. I think Fnatic is a team that will get disrupted by the way that G2 plays. And they've shown to struggle against it in the past, even against different cores of G2 as well. So, but that doesn't actually matter, because their performance against the rest of the teams is going to be what matters. I think the narrative about the 2 groups that are out on Twitter and different platforms and whatever, people talking about it, how they're saying Group B is the group of death, I think it's like not as obvious. I don't think that this group is harder in a sense than the other 2, because I think Supermassive Blaze and BBL are free wins for everybody else.
Yeah, they might be, honestly.
And Ascend and Guild, I agree with you, Wyatt, are a tier above the rest.
Yeah. I am on the fucking Guild train for 2022. David Beckham, I'm with you. But G2,
If Guild make it far, we need to get some David Beckham
we need to get
merch.
David Beckham on the show.
Well, we get him on
Yeah,
the
we
show.
need to
on
get
back
David
chat.
Beckham on the show.
We get him on the show, but
a
also
hit.
we need to get like his old football jersey, you know, his old football shirt for some skits, for some good old fashioned
If we ever get like
knee
a
slapping
sports
skits.
Some
celebrity
green
on
screen
Plat
clips.
chat, I want the episode to be like really unhinged. Like, I want it to be like something where like they're not in on the joke, like an Eric Andre type of bit, and like we're just like making it miserable for them.
And they never agree to come on the show ever
And
again.
they never come back.
God.
They're
Yeah.
just pissed.
Yeah,
They
we
leave.
just make David Beckham mad at new
Yeah,
media
we're just
generally.
like, David
just
Beckham,
hates
why
new
do you
media.
suck at football, huh? Like, what's going on with that?
Said, our G2 genuinely, does G2 have a chance of cracking into this top 3 though? Is it just dependent on whether or not they beat Fnatic?
It might be, if the rest of the group is as clear cut as we're making
Like,
it
is the
seem.
most
I don't know,
is the
man, 'cause
most likely outcome
Map pool wise, I don't.
is the most
Sorry.
likely outcome? No, it's fine. Is the most likely outcome Ascend and Guild pretty much just beat everyone, they make it through? Okay, and then Fnatic and G2 lose to Ascend and Guild, beat SMB and BBL, and they're just playing for the last spot.
You know, I think that is a likely outcome, but the other thing is, well, no, yeah, continue.
No, I mean that was my question. Is that the most likely outcome?
Okay,
this-
then yes, I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah, I think so. Fnatic match up pretty well against G2.
We might be
If G2 are
overrating
the,
Guild.
if G2 are the best
really-
team if G2 are the best team to actually break into the 3rd, and it's, in my mind, it's Fnatic, because I'm going off of these ancient narratives, the ancient texts, the archives, and peering through it.
Yeah.
And Fnatic are like going back to online performance. Still, even then, like Fnatic, I think match up well to them, because G2 don't want to play Fracture. They're going to be banning that shit. It's going to give Fnatic an advantage in the maps. Actually, how is that format going to work with the group stage?
What do you mean? It's just best of 3.
Just best of 3, and they just ban one each. Yeah. So Fnatic should have an advantage, I think, when it comes to the pick bans with the maps.
You know, the thing is, though, when you're these tomes are not as ancient or dusty as other tomes. I mean, they're only like 6-month-old tomes.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just. I know Fnatic were talking about like the Red Bull, like they were just trying stuff, but how much experimenting were they doing in the Berlin qualifiers where they also lost? That's the real focal point.
Well, they were fucking experimenting. They played 3
Oh yeah, I mean they were doing
Bind.
wacky shit, weren't they? Yeah, on Bind where they had 17 controllers.
It couldn't have been experimenting. They were trying to qualify for Berlin and they didn't qualify. So like this is shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't see that. It's the same thing as like benching Keloqz because we want to teach them a lesson when they need to qualify. You know, like that's
I'm trying to come out with a hot take because it literally says group predictions and hot takes.
Give me a hot take.
I'm trying to pull one out, but it just looks too certain.
Yeah, I know, it really does.
It just looks too certain with the groups.
FPX are making it through. There we go.
All right, there's a hot take.
There we go. Group A, FPX. They're making it through.
They're gonna cook up something wild.
Group B, Guild win the group.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go.
There's a hot take for you.
Yeah,
that's how badly I want to get David Beckham on the show. What?
That actually matters because they get like a bye in playoffs.
Yeah.
If they make it first in the group. So I think people will be playing for.
Yeah, no, it absolutely matters. And I think Guild, genuinely, this isn't just for a meme to get David Beckham on the show, though. David, it's platchatpodcast@gmail.com. But I don't even know if that's the email, but okay. I really was impressed by Guild. And I think that given that they've been playing matches, they've been active, they're on fire, seems like a good time to come in, ascend, they roll up, they're on there like, oh, we're the champions, dude.
Champs, you have to. Yeah, well.
And then a Guild come through, just red hot, just scorch their way into the top spot. You know what I mean?
I feel it.
The factors are there, but also genuinely out of all the teams that I've
hot for 7 weeks, like that. That's something that I think I'm not really considering until just now. Is like for example, Fnatic is playing with a new player. It's like, oh, they're gonna be shit for the first 2 weeks or whatever, but they have 5 more weeks to play after that. You know, so it's like not the end of the world if they come out not hot. Like for example, Ascend is saying in that.
Yeah. You're braver than me. I don't have any hot takes.
Someone's got to give a hot. Listen, no other hot take. Hello.
I'll just say fuck it and go for it. I think London United makes it out of a Group A. I think they'll make it into the top 3, and I'm probably still thinking that Group B is going to be a Sin Fnatic Guild. Honestly,
here's a. BBL and G2 are going to be in contention for playoffs, and then they're going to play in the last week or something like that. And BBL is going to beat G2, but the way the tie breaks work is they're not going to make it in and Ascend, Fnatic, and Guild. They're going to make it in anyways.
We're reading the future.
I mean,
if that's right, then I don't even know what to say. If that becomes pixel perfect correct, then I think.
I mean, that was such a specific, that was such a narrow prediction, and I like it. I like it a lot. Bren, who's getting this is the last chance. Who's getting the 3rd spot in Group A, and who's getting the 3rd spot in Group B? You have 5 seconds. You have to give your God's honest truth.
Big Fnatic.
There you have it. Big and Fnatic are making it through. Boom. There it is. There it is. Now, finally. Over to North America. My favorite.
I love
region.
America.
Yeah, you live there, huh? Yeah.
I do.
Yep. Cloud9. They won the first event that had agent bans. It was this Knights tournament where they decided to just throw a little wrench in the rule book and get something interesting happening. And Cloud9 came out on top. They won 2-1 in the final against NRG, the new NRG roster. They played one other tournament previously. NRG, I forget which one. Just another. It was the something or other, the 25K showdown, elite showdown, community elite showdown. I think, yeah. And then they have now also played in this Knights tournament, which was, good prize pool, 25K, but also just kind of, I don't want to say for fun, but just a good practice tournament. Good time for these teams to be able to get some reps in before VCT starts for them this Thursday, and got to see some pretty interesting matchups. everybody in the NA scene and like the tier 2 scope have been all over Accru because they went on like a 30-something game win streak. I mean, Kurt, if you go to Accru's page, you're going to scroll down and you're going to
They
see
were
all
calling them
green.
like a
Just-
crew Alice or
I
something.
mean, look at
Nice.
this.
Alice.
They won so. I mean, they dominated tier 2 in NA. Dominant. Look at the win streak. It's crazy. And then sadly, it came to an end because they played against Cloud9, and
And
Cloud9
awfully
won the
Cloud9
tournament.
too.
So this is so sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, Accru definitely one of the teams to look out for VCT on a lot of people's radar because of that nasty win streak. What else happened in that tournament? Version 1 also played against Cloud9 pretty early on. NRG had a pretty decent showing until the final. I mean, in the final as well, but Cloud9 took it home. Anything from this tournament that kind of stuck out that's like, ooh, is this a precursor to VCT?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool concept with the VETOS. I think you talked about it last week when Ryan was on about the concept of like vetoes in the game. But one of the added benefits, I guess, is that teams are more willing to play in them. Like good teams are more willing to play in it because, for example, I'm pretty sure Sova got vetoed in like almost every single match, right? Or like through the whole thing.
I care.
No,
So, like,
I don't.
What was that, Balla?
It just wasn't every single time. There was a few matches that he was.
Yeah,
vetoed.
almost. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of the times I was watching Sova. But teams are probably more inclined to play in this tournament because they're like, well, we're not revealing anything, you know? Like Sova's such a core component of so many comps.
Right.
Most of the time gone, for example. And so it's like a fun little thing that we get to watch some of these teams compete at least just before the real competition boots up. Because normally, especially in NA, these teams would not be like, I don't think Cloud9 would be incentivized to play in this. As much as Cloud9 are the kind of team where they are playing in almost everything leading up to it, leading up to Champs last year, it's going to affect you if you're showcasing your stuff out there to the world in VCT when it's coming up. So
Yeah.
I like that. It means that these teams are more willing to play in these kind of tournaments.
Yeah. It's all in the balance, you know. You need to get enough practice in, but also don't want to reveal the secrets. But so that's kind of what you get there. And then after the tournament, that just reminded me, Zeta posted, he like tweeted like, Cloud9 win, I'm pushing P or something. They won. And just like
Zuma meme.
and just like in the most like relating to the kids
Why
way,
did-
and it was
what
pretty
did that-
adorable.
Push and P. If you don't listen, I've learned something in my time of streaming on Twitch as a 25-year-old man who doesn't understand Zuma memes anymore.
Mhm.
And it's if you don't understand the Zuma meme, just repeat it.
Yeah.
People come into my chat, yo, Bren, you pushing P? Yeah, pushing P.
Yup.
Yep.
Yup.
Yeah, pushing P. Yeah, pushing P.
Oh my
Dude, this is going in the stand-up act, 100%. This is making it in.
Oh god, I can't wait until the Plat chat open mic. Finally. Has
you guys.
has the VCT bracket come out while we were doing this yet? Bracket VCT NA bracket.
Heck.
I believe Balla was baited
Negative.
earlier.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
and
negative.
It's still not
That's
out, yeah.
unfortunate because I do want to take a little peek at that bracket since the thing is about to happen.
Wait.
Um,
Hold on.
oh, no,
Oh.
there's no bracket.
Oh.
I was about to give my take on the veto system. you
Oh,
know?
okay.
Oh, okay, dude. So let him know why the veto system's fucked.
So what was it? Was 2 protects? Dude, I didn't watch the tournament.
I mean, dude, you can't watch anything. We didn't even.
Here's my one take about it. I watched like
Yeah.
3 or 4 matches of the tournament, and it was just random, whatever was on at night, you know. But it's weird because I feel like NA is like the perfect place for. Like a lot of pros loved it, and it was puggy as fuck. Like you
Yeah.
can tell, it was
Yeah.
super puggy. Obviously, because they're not playing necessarily the agents that they were. But like Cloud9 was trolling in the beginning, and that like convinced other people to start to start banning and protecting random agents. And then the tournament got fun. Like group stage was hella boring because everybody was just protecting Astra, protecting Jett, protecting
Mhm.
Viper, whatever, like stuff like that. And then once Cloud9 started really trolling, like Zeta was on Jett,
The
like Mitch was
floodgates
on
open.
Reyna.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, okay, this is how we should play. There started being Yoru's coming out and stuff like that. And then Killjoy and Cypher was banned like all the time. And that forced people to play Chamber. But like NA is perfect for that. I'm surprised we haven't seen a lot more NA teams playing random comps and random agents and stuff like that, because I feel like when you can't really prep, you don't know what the teams are gonna do or come out with. You can play a lot more loose, like
Yeah.
the style that people played in this. So I'm surprised to see nobody in NA ever do what FPX or Fnatic or Gambit in some cases were doing, which is just like, here, let's throw out a random comp outside of Cloud9 in LCQ once they started playing Breeze and Bind and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest reason against it is because
we're ahead of the.
I think yeah, we've mentioned FPX 4 times I think so far, which is, I mean, listen, they're relevant, so no longer a meme for us. The thing is, there's like the factor that you need to consider with that as well, though, Balla, is as much as teams can go into a tournament being like, let's just run unconventional stuff, throw off the trail, throw off the scent, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It does affect a team mentally if they end up losing a tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
If you like lose the games, even if you tell yourself you're trolling, like you still walk away from that.
Well, no, it's not trolling though. It's just playing like.
Yeah, I'm using the term incredibly loosely.
Because there's so many teams in NA that literally don't have like a bunch of set strats. They just have like, you know, some stuff that like they just theory craft. And then like, for example, Cloud9, you can literally see a lot of times they don't necessarily have like a super built up structure or something like that, but they have a lot of fucking theory crafting going on.
Yeah.
Like a cool dart that they're like, oh, we could use this for that. Like, for example, Kurt, if you pull up the clip that I posted about Cloud9, I think it's called like double KO ult or something like that. Like, there's this shit that they do where Zeppa on binds, he uses his ults and then runs to the TP. That's something like, it clearly was just Zeppa like, oh, I could do this thing now that we talked about. Like, that was what it was. It wasn't like part of a strat or anything like that. It was just like, oh, it finally works, like, because we had thought about it that way. That's the type of thing that NA is very, very good at. Theory crafting and just like playing loose and then finding opportunities to use the theory crafting and not necessarily like, let's run the fucking Astralis 2 mid take, you know, that sort of thing that EU teams are fucking doing like crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that they could benefit a lot from just throwing in a different Asian every once in a while, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Didn't have it on the list, but I guess I can mention briefly because one of the other tournaments that happened, it was the NSG G4 weekly.
Yeah, your first cast.
Yeah, I cast that, but you got to see T1, the new T1 roster went in for the first time, and and also the guard were in it as well with their new Sova Trent, who is just demonic. But yeah, it was a cool, quick little tournament. I guess I kind of just wanted to point out like that the guard were nasty. Actually, the guard looked really damn good. Their defense sides were really solid. They were mixing up their setups constantly, and they were super effective. They were controlling the map on defense against all their opponents with ease. They gave T1 a super tough time. It was a good series, but for the most part, it felt like the guard were pretty in control. T1 took the second map, Ascent, but the other 2 maps the guard took relatively easily. Yeah, they looked really good. Their new Sova Trent is crazy, and also Jonah P, definitely very good, and because of his time on Immortals, I think, kind of went under the radar because Immortals were in chaos, but really solid. So the guard were looking really good, and that was pretty cool, and also it was fun to see T1 for the first time with, their entirely revamped roster with Steel leading the team, and you could definitely see Steel's impact on that team. It was just heavily dictating how they were playing, and they looked good, honestly. Like the biggest thing working against them just looked like their freshness as a team, and this was just a good chance for them to play some games. But yeah, it looked like even watching the games, it's like you could just see the control that Steel had over them, especially on attack sides, how he was dictating their movements around the map and how they were working the map. It was good. I think T1 looked pretty promising, and I was surprised at how damn solid the guard were and how great the calling on the team from Valen was as well.
In seemingly short notice as well.
Yeah.
It feels like the rosters are... I mean, the roster hasn't just been put together. It's been around for a bit, and they've been chopping and changing, but yeah.
Yeah, exciting. Some exciting teams, though. I didn't know what to think of the guard, and I was blown away. And and they were just talking as well after about how much MCE has helped them and how much respect they have for him, and kind of cool, like both the guard and T1, two teams that have like, like I think what Ball said a couple weeks ago at T1, but like a good blueprint. Like they get one guy to oversee the team, and then they build from there, find the good pieces, the upcoming players that people haven't really seen, you know, get them together, and then you actually have a cohesive team to build from. So two cool teams for sure. Is there anything we can check out then in regards to the NA Open? Like, is there any kind of...
We could look at the VLR page. We scroll all the way down. It has all the teams that are signed up for Open Quals.
Okay. Do we want to
That'll
just
be the
check
best.
that out super quick? I mean, it would suck if we don't talk about it at all. Then the Open Qualifiers just happen, and there's...
Yeah. I mean, we could just talk about like straight up some of the teams that we know are like Rise, XSET are not are playing. Gen.G.
Did they get pushed forwards into like the round of 32?
No.
There's a prior performance. They have to start from the beginning.
Yeah, that starts in the second qualifier.
Yeah. The second
No, actually,
qualifier.
there is none of that. It's just that if they don't qualify the first time, they get better seating the next time.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of stoked, honestly, for the NA Open, especially off the back of all these tournaments that we've been getting as well, because the looks we've been seeing with the Guard and T1, and obviously, I mean, you can't really read into the Knights tournament that much with the VETOS, but I don't know.
Sure.
It's exciting, you know. There's a lot on the line for a lot of these teams. We're not going to see like the best of the best in NA, I guess, really competing as much, but I'm really excited to see. You said that XSET and Rise are playing in the Open Qual, dude. I'm excited for that.
I am excited to see XSET.
Oh,
because there's a strong chance that XSET might just show up and, I mean, just
FaZe too.
pound. The
Yeah,
tournament.
FaZe.
Yeah, FaZe are going to be...
FaZe.
Gen.G are going to be interesting with Rhyme as their duelist.
Yeah.
I don't know when he is arrived in the
He
States.
arrived like 5 days ago, I think he said
Yeah,
there's like a Gen.G stream thing.
Yeah. Right, yeah, they did the thing with Sean. Yeah, they're getting a bit of time with Rhyme, and that'll be really interesting. I think that team looks pretty cool. Yeah, any other teams you guys are excited to see? LG, they just announced this week that they have B-Dog as their fifth, who was
B-Dog.
Dude was playing really well in the tier 2 scene on the Jett, even though he used to be a controller player. But yeah, he's heading over to LG. I know Evil Geniuses, their roster moves, I think, were on like Battlefy as well. A lot of little moves happening in this scene.
I'm so excited for Crew,
Thanos
man.
Mug Academy.
For
Type of
Crew?
one.
Yeah, I want a Crew to qual real bad.
Yeah.
That team is
Calm's a
so
grinder. That team is mega grinders. I think I'm kind of this is like not really like I just from a personal perspective. I think the new store roster got announced today, and it has like Trill, the Overwatch League player, on it, and he's finally found a team. So I think it's cool that that's cool too, just to see someone else competing that I know. But you know, mostly I think like FaZe and XSET and rosters like that are like the big ones that I'm really interested to see.
Yeah, just seeing
Oh, God,
my
Carbon
questions
knocked
answered.
Carbon
Oh,
knocked him,
fuck.
yeah, of
Oh,
course.
shit. Dude,
Quality.
watch out. Tier 1 teams, watch out.
Especially XO with Cryo, man. I want to see.
I'm hype.
I want to see what that team
Cryo.
can do. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
and TSM as well.
Oh yeah, TSM's also.
I'm
yeah,
a
that's
big
true.
TSM fan.
I'm just like making a list of teams.
We need to build a relationship
What's
with
that
TSM
team's
because we've
name?
lost 100 Thieves. Because Josh has lost us 100 Thieves repertoire,
Yeah.
so we can make it work with TSM. Though.
Dude,
We can make it
Balla,
work.
you couldn't get us in over Team Mommy in
I
the
know,
VCT
dude.
Open
Team
Qual.
Sussy are playing and we're
Team
not.
Sassy playing, we're not playing.
Goofy Gremlins.
Huh?
Ah,
Sussy.
fuck.
Sussy.
And I can't even get in the second one too because I opened at the same time and I didn't
Yeah.
notice, so I didn't even like
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, maybe we can just play in like an
Uh,
open tournament.
Yeah, we could play some like VCC or the Energy Opens.
If there was
maybe.
only like region the V. what is
Although
it?
we have to pay to get in some of those, so like I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
See, I
about
think
I'll
we
find
need
us a
to, we need
sponsor.
we need an org. Yeah, we need.
I'll
an
find us a
org.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
we do need
TSM,
a
Bren loves you. Give us,
Yeah,
give us
TSM,
money.
give me money. We can be your new academy team. Plat chat.
We could be Guild NA. David? Are you David
David,
Beckham? Are you
you
listening?
listening?
Guild NA?
David,
I love
it's
your
time
work.
for
The way you kick the ball is just so good.
I love your work. That's such a strange thing to say about a footballer. I love your work.
I love your
Your
work.
work. Big fan.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a lot to talk about with NA next week after this whole Open Qualifier actually goes down. See what teams come out on top. But it'll be damn
qualified teams. Recap. They made it. Wow.
YouTuber face.
what? Sussy made it over LG. Okay. Last topic. It's time for the weekly award. Yeah, press it.
So
Brennan,
sad.
the
When you
anticipation
introduce it, you don't say it's the most important. That's so sad.
That would just
Yeah,
be so
you don't take
egotistical.
pride in your own work anymore.
That would just
And
be
that's
so
messed up.
egotistical.
And I love your work.
it's
Yeah,
it's the
I'm a big
weekly
fan
award.
of your work.
Big fan of your work, David.
You should just do the green, like pick up the trophy. And
I like
do
just
one.
letting you guys just sit there.
I'm just. I really like your
Kurt's
disposition
been
this
getting on his
episode, Bren.
chaos arc recently. Someone's been giving Kurt something's been going on. Like he's been trying to steal the vibranium and shit. Like, I don't know what's going on, but this man, he's going off the rails right now.
Pausers.
Pausers.
Pause champ.
There
it is.
Wyatt's weekly award.
This ball is crushed. Man, what a shot.
Very nice.
You know what? This weekly award, you know who it's going to? I'm gonna give it to him because I was really impressed. Some of the discussions today maybe made me like, oh, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have been my weekly award. But I'm gonna give it to him because I was impressed. I think there was some pressure on his shoulders to come back and perform. I was gonna give it to Keloqz, and I still am gonna give it to Keloqz.
Oh.
Keloqz is gonna get the weekly award because I really was impressed with how much of a difference that he specifically made for G2, not just in regards to his own play, but yeah, it was just how his play affected everybody else on the team around him and just caused this cascading effect where the actual unit of the team was able to play better because they just had this central point, the tip of the spear actually penetrating the defense when they were on attack. Actually able to push up and hold extremities effectively, like this little duo of like him and Hoodie at a lot of times, like on Ascent. Like he influenced the team pretty significantly in his return, and I also in this hope that continues to be the case, but not just through his play, but through his work ethic and how the team is actually operating behind the scenes, and that whatever problems they were having are resolved and they can effectively work with the Nookie IGL, because I do think there is clearly the talent there, and he clearly has a huge influence on what happens in the game when he's playing. And it would be a shame if that potential were not realized because of outside factors. So I am going to give it to Keloqz, and I just want to see more, and I want to see that they continue with the good team work ethic, continue together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The team's got a lot of room to grow, was my takeaway from watching them. Like,
What, Balla?
I heckin' love Keloqz.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought you were like, dude, Keloqz.
Good weekly award.
Thank you, Brent.
Just because of shit like this, man. This guy's like a fun dude. Like he's just so energetic,
Also-
emotional. You can see he puts it all on.
There's something to be said when
all on the table.
there's something to be said when the young upcoming player on your team, dude, it's one thing to do it online from the comfort of his own home, but at LAN, you know what I mean?
LAN player.
But at LAN, he turned up, he
Animal.
activated, a new level was unlocked. Genuinely though, there is, the fact that the dude was so crazy on LAN, that bodes well for the future. So hopefully outside of the game issues don't interfere with what could be a great career and a nice little arc for G2,
I agree.
I'm
you.
in agreement.
Thank you for agreeing. I appreciate
I like
that.
your award this week.
Thanks, Bren.
I like
I
the,
like your work.
I like the marble base of it as
Big
well.
fan of your work. Yeah, that's a $40,000
Oh,
trophy.
shit.
That's a solid goal.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
don't touch
okay.
that.
$40,000. Don't, dude. Matter of fact, get some cleaning supplies. Get your fingerprints off that right
Okay,
now.
sorry.
Where's
you're
that
gonna have to-
marble from? The fucking
Wait,
Parthenon?
Bren, we got our entry fee right there, bro. Just yoink that.
The entry fee, you could just buy. You could just do an ESL style acquisition and just buy the TO. with this Parthenon
I'm gonna
marble.
take a picture of it
that
and sell it as an
Wyatt-
NFT.
Let me just buy Nerd Street. We
Exactly.
get into the tournaments.
Okay,
All
all
right.
right, Kurt, we're off the rails. Just let's.
This is there any? I have to ask.
Oh,
Is there any breaking news?
I'm checking. I'm checking.
Guys, get
there's
your
a
phone.
Sideshow Gaming tweet.
Get your phones
Okay.
out. Yeah, what
There's
is
a Sideshow Gaming tweet?
What is
Yeah,
he
there is a
still? Is he
Sideshow Gaming
lost in the woods, dude? The Sideshow is just running around the woods, Keemstar video looking ass. Oh, I'm fast as fuck. He was just running around the woods. What was he doing?
What's the Sideshow tweet?
I still don't understand why he was also looking like a Tarkov scav. You know, like why was he backpacked up? I don't know. I don't get that.
He travels like that.
He travels like this.
Yeah, he travels like he's honestly, the guy is a very unique human because whenever he travels, he doesn't have like a suitcase. He brings like this double
He brings a
backpack
duffel
setup.
bag like he's going hiking.
Yeah, he has like a counterweight in front of him with more of his clothes and things that he takes with him when he travels.
It's a nice way to travel. You don't have to pay the $25, $50 on the.
But
the
I don't. I
baggage
mean, I don't
fees.
pay anything for bags because I have. You know, I don't
Yeah,
pay
because I have status with Delta. Cool.
Dude, this fucking guy with his exclusive Delta Club benefits
pretty exclusive. They were like, "Hey, do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah," and they gave it to me.
makes me
Pretty
sick.
exclusive there.
1% make me sick. So there's no news,
No,
dude.
nothing.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I guess we'll have to. Well, I guess we'll see you next week. Guys, wait, before we go, make sure to like and subscribe to the video and also leave a comment. And also, remember to use code VALOChat20 at manscaped.com. Kurt, send us off.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.